a scene. Okay, so I think I know what caused the issue. Um, However, in order to fix it, I'm going to need help of Twitch chat. Uh, no, still no.
You needed a guy for Clorox and plastic wrap. I feel like those are easily bought at the grocery store.
I think I fixed it.
Not
Can chat
traceable.
hear me?
I have
Time with
untraceable
Pat.
plastic wrap and core.
Time with Pat.
Freshly laundered.
Yes.
I need to find a pen.
I have one.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Just pass it through. Gosh, what do you call it? Pretty much that.
Oh,
All right. Yeah, if I can get. Oh, cool. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. Confirmation from chat that we are indeed being heard. Cool. So, what y'all missed was a brief recap of last session. So I will give the Cliff Notes version of what our party had already said. Last session, the party was attacked by a hag matron and her minions. And this attack happened in the middle of the night before the party had managed to get a long rest in. And by the time the fighting had finished, Thane had gone missing, and Darius McBrite, sibling to Jalen and Mira, there we go, Jalen and Mira McBrite, was found turned inside out. And upon
This is
further...
the merchant we met on the road.
Yes, that is the merchant that was met on the road. The one with the files on the cases involving people being turned inside out. And those cases were the last ones, the ones that were most specifically looked at were the ones for his siblings. And upon further investigation, the inside out, whatever caused that, happened in the 3-minute time span between when Nadia came up to Gerard to speak by the campfire and when the hag matron attacked. Only 3 minutes passed, and sometime in the middle of the camp, with 3 people awake, Darius was turned inside out. Also, some key additional features. When looking for where Thane went, for lack of a better word, like a teleportation circle or like an arcane circle, but with runes that are not arcane, was found in the ground, and that's where the trail ended, along with bodies of several more of those small skeleton baby-like creatures that were severed and left there by the edge of the circle. The animals ran away from the gigantic evil nope that the hag matron and her minions were. And you were all able to successfully, with incredible rolls, find your mounts and the camel. And were able to, after a little bit of cajoling, successfully round them up to get them moving. You have now made camp after a decent amount of a ride, not sure where Thane went, and not knowing whether or not it would be prudent to wait for Thane there or get away and get somewhere safe first. And the party elected to go somewhere safe first. Yes, Greg.
from the start of last session to the end, did we just go through one day?
Ye-
It's still
One
the
evening.
22nd of Apocalypse.
We
Well,
Yeah.
you can
haven't.
officially change the calendar. It is early morning, I think, by the time you guys get to camp. Because Luca, or Ross,
Or
you
sorry, the
might jog my
14th.
memory. How long do you guys actually travel for once you like GTFO'd?
I thought
I think we said we would go until the horses needed to stop.
I'm not
was
sure
it
if
that
that was
far
it or if
or
there
was
was a
it
time. I don't remember.
40?
And I forgot.
I
to
thought
write
it was
down,
just like
unfortunately.
as fast as they could go for like half hour, 40 minutes, just haul ass and then
Okay.
kick it.
Yeah,
Was that what
sounds
it
right.
was?
That
Yeah,
sounds
Yeah.
right
I
to
think
me.
you're right. I think it was just under an hour of hard writing.
So it'd
Just
probably be
fucking-
early on the 15th then.
Yes, this is early morning on the 15th.
Okay.
We'll actually call it mid-morning because you are all getting a long rest.
Can you give me the date and time?
Greg
15th of
has the
Apocalypse.
date. The current time right now, we'll call it 7 a.m. in game. So still early morning. I know I said mid-morning
Okay.
earlier, but
Yeah,
now that I
it's the
think about it,
15th is the date, and the month is Apocanar, which is EPOCH RINAR. Apocanar.
Question.
Yes.
How are you doing healing on long rest?
So, I have an idea that I wanted to try out. This is purely experimental. If the party does not like it, immediately tell me and I will change it because it is just an experiment. I have not used it before, so I'm not sure. But I had a thought. When you take a long rest, you will regain all of your missing hit points or all of your missing hit dice, your choice when you long rest. But
I'm fine with
anything,
that.
any like abilities
I'm
or
okay
features
with
that come back
that.
on a long rest are just obviously. But as far as health, you can choose either all of your health or all of your hit dice, depending on, if you had a day where you only had one combat, you didn't have any short rests, heal up. If you did, a shit ton of short rests and you burned through all of your hit die, you got to look. Do I want to heal or do I want to get all my hit dice back? Just an experiment. We'll see how many sessions we like it, if any, and
We'll have to see if because I think the long rest macro button in Roll20 will automatically restore both.
oh, health and hit die.
I think so.
Okay. Well, then, for sake of not wanting to try and deal with the IT of recoding the character sheet, which maybe I could do. I don't know. I haven't done a whole lot of coding in a while. It's been a year or two. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just leave it as is then. I don't want to mess with the character sheets. As per normal rules, so you get up to half your maximum hit die back and all of your health is the standard rules, if I'm not mistaken.
Okie dokie.
Shoot, where was I? Oh yeah, very important details. Uh-oh.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Right.
Headphones. Sorry, 1 second. It's not one thing, it's something else.
More.
All right. Cool. Nice. Yeah, that's not going to stay in. I might need to do this. Yeah, this is what I'll do. Sorry, one moment, everyone.
So about those bodies. Oh goodness. Oh man. Oh, cabbage. I also summoned support animal.
Yeah, Nadia's still got cabbage.
Go hardwired.
That's fine.
I think she spent the ride with asleep with her head on Gerard's shoulder and cabbage in her lap.
Sounds fair.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Still?
Hmm?
Cool.
Yeah.
Hardwire it is. No more wireless. um, yes, very important thing is that Luca, Durad, and Kensu all felt and Luca saw a event upon investigating the corpse of the hag matron, where a small, very dim, very diffused and dull golden light exited out of the bones and entered into the dirt. And upon a later, very good religion check from Luca, energies relating to Theramel were detected when looking at this strange moat that seemed very, again, very dull, very faded, very like someone put a diffuser cap over it. It's not as bright as you might think for a divine light. It seemed more like a
And
barely a will-o-wisp type of.
for audience's benefit, Theramel is
Yes, thank you. Yes. So, in the
wait, but who's Theramel?
yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, all of the deities of this world, Valir, there are actually two sets. There are pantheonic deities, and in each world, they all have their own set of pantheonic deities. They have their own pantheons. They have their own watchers. But there's a second set known as prime deities. They have showed up in the folklore and history and legends and fables of worlds everywhere, even in other places where you never would have expected. And as such, they're known to be universal deities that govern things on a more macro scale than on for an individual planet. Theramel is is a prime deity, the deity of organic matter, which we kind of briefly touched over last session. But to recap, is anything that requires any form of sustenance to exist. So all flora and fauna, you know, trees, bugs, people, the life force of the planet itself is all under the jurisdiction of Theramel. And I think that roughly catches us up to where we were. So we're going to start with everyone in the camp getting up from a long rest after a very harrowed night the night before. When you were all beset with a sight. Give me one moment to pull this up.
Sight, not a smell.
Yeah, you'll start to see something. You begin to put together the camp, pack everything up, get ready to close up camp, and figure out really what you're going to do from here. And as the party begins to pack up, one of you sees a figure coming up the road from Dendris, carrying a large bundle over one shoulder. As the figure nears, you see that it is Thane, resolutely putting one foot in front of the other. For all how he looked last you had seen him, he looks like death now, with skin drawn and paler than usual. The plentiful of mushrooms that covered him are drooping, desiccated, or simply gone. As he gets closer, you see he is sweating profusely and his legs are shaking as he moves with determination towards the open rear of the cart that you guys are all next to. This close, you see new growths poking out between the mushrooms and in areas where there are none, fresh, tender shoots of sprouting plants. The large bundle that he is carrying is wrapped in a bedroll and looks as though it may contain a person. Thane very carefully lays the bundle in the clear space in the back of the cart, away from the other things, and then turns to the rest of it.
Thane,
You look bad. I don't think you're supposed to look like that.
I'm not very strong, and he's heavy.
Is that the cart driver?
That is Darius, yes.
Uh,
The one who was a mess.
Inside
Lucas
out?
says in stilted common.
Nancy, didn't you bury him?
I thought I did, yeah. A lot
It's a
of hard
shallow
work.
grave.
Shot to shit.
He's in bad shape, but he's still alive.
He was buried alive.
Oh, we buried him alive.
Everyone
He's
just
inside out.
assumed
alive.
inside out meant dead. No one checked. Not a single person checked.
Oh yeah, like yeah. So yeah,
Totally
unreasonable assumption.
No, totally reasonable that no one checked. I'm just saying no one checked. That's totally reasonable. He was inside out. Why would he be alive? But Thane managed to save him and bring his body the entire way here.
He's still inside out.
He's still inside out.
I imagine, Durad, as you're asking, you probably like peek and you see like muscles.
No, Durad does not do. No.
I take
Naughty
it back.
does.
Naughty does.
Naughty does.
I'm used to
peel back
seeing
in
like
you see muscle sinew and you hear the escaping of pained breath as you peel back one of the bandages around.
Why? Luca looks very confused and like a little offended.
Why not just put him out of his mercy?
I don't believe that's the term. It's misery, but we should have mercy.
Yeah. Same difference. Why not just put him out of his misery?
Yeah, I don't know how to turn someone right side in.
What do you all know of hags?
Nothing.
I mean, her son's not bad.
Do I know anything of hags?
Luca,
Sorry, I apologize.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Anyone who wants the type of information you're going to get is going to be a little different than Luca and also dependent on a roll. But anyone who wants to can roll a Arcana check to see any cursory knowledge in response that they might know in response to Luca's question.
Luca has thoughts because Luca knows stories of hags at the very least. They may or may not be accurate whatsoever. But I would warrant that she's probably more familiar than everybody else by at least a couple days.
Whew. So Kensu with a 2 and Thane with a 4 don't know anything about hags. This is the first that you've or last night was the first you've encountered one, and this is the first you've spoken about one. Nadia, you don't know anything about hags, but you have heard of them. There have been many ballads told about hags and dire trolls that serve them. And Durad, you would, with a 15, you would know that hags are completely solitary creatures. They avoid each other entirely. There is very, very old tell of hags that used to form covens, but they all left many, many, many years ago. And no one has ever seen one since, and any hags that exist now are solitary creatures. They're
Like
also...
Sasquatch.
And then you would, I think you'll get one more piece of info with that roll. I would say that... I think someone's picking up another conversation. Sorry. I think the second piece of information that you would get, Durod, is that in addition to being solitary creatures, hags have... This is a rumor. This is not fact that you know. I'm going to preface that, okay? This is rumor. I cannot guarantee you that it's true. Durod has heard through the grapevine of various sources that as of the last 3 or 4 years, hags have been seemingly more organized, more planned in their attacks of others, and they seem to be better organized and not necessarily only working for themselves.
Okay.
They still put their best interests first above anything else, but it's not the only interest that they have been paying attention to in the last couple years.
We've got a Slack server going.
Black.
Oh.
Uh,
The hags have a Slack server. That's good.
It wouldn't be Discord. It's not professional enough.
Right.
It's not professional enough. It's just the best answer to most issues.
Cool. I've shared with what some of your characters would or would not know. How would you respond to Luca's question of, have you ever heard of hags?
No, I've not.
Stories. I never met one before.
nothing of importance. They just live by themselves. Wild creatures. What are we doing with Darius?
We have 3 options on what to do with Darius. And Luca looks pissed off because she has to speak in common because Thane doesn't speak Elvish. So Luca sounds like a barely capable of speaking the language.
Is it like when you're saying operator?
More like 2 years of high school, more like 2 years of high school Spanish, where you sat next to somebody who was really attractive and didn't learn a goddamn thing. And Luca says 3 things. Mercy. And she quickly grabs an axe and doesn't do it, but motions in that direction.
Mercy.
Go back to Hag and find the spell. Kill it. Break it. End it. Or leave for beasts.
We could try burying him alive again. See if it takes.
No, it didn't really work the first time.
Well, it only
I'm
didn't
kidding.
work because
Just real quick, because none of the party members, with the exception of 2, would even remotely know this. For the 2 of you who are actually from Espira, you are coming up on a major city in another little over a day's travel. Like, you'll get there tomorrow morning if you rode normally and didn't push too hard, but also didn't slack. Like a major city. On the map, it would be this guy. Let me try and zoom in a little bit here.
Thane, where did you go? Like,
Well,
what
about that.
happened?
the thing that took me into the forest a little ways to try to eat me, which I only repelled due to he's I only repelled due to the powers of my clerical deity. He's tapping his amulet. He's referencing his turn undead ability. It's a lot. It was a lot bigger than it appeared to be when we first saw it. Was more like a shadow undead, and the things we were fighting at the time were its tentacles. When I got away from the one, others came and ambushed me. And as I tried to escape from those, I teleported using my crown. Only I didn't go to the same place and got pulled into the presence of a much more powerful being, a being of life and death, and he saved me and sent me back.
Did this being have a name of life and death?
He didn't give me one.
It's not very like you to ask either, I suppose.
I did. He said it wasn't my time to know it.
Interesting.
He sent me back to where we were, and I searched the campground and tried to see if anyone was dead. Came across Darius, who I managed to save.
About that, we just assumed he was dead.
It's a fair assumption.
He
He only died after you put him in the ground, though. And it's my job to get him where he wanted to go.
And where he wanted to go was back to us?
He wanted to go to Seema.
Oh, great. We can keep traveling with him.
Can you take care of him, Thane?
It's my
I
job.
thought you were going to ask me to do it.
No. Your job is to take care of Cabbage.
You said something about a hag? I didn't actually see that.
Yes, we killed a hag.
Did it have this? And he reaches into his backpack and pulls out a black cloak.
Would we recognize that as the cloak?
The hag was wearing a cloak that seemed to give it a preternatural ability to dodge her attacks. And it also was collecting segments of a icon for every one of those things that returned to it.
Right.
And
that's right.
The body was beaten to an absolute pulp and there was nothing left, but the cloak was salvageable.
Yeah, that's the cloak he was wearing. Mm-hmm. And there's the symbol, too.
He holds it out to all of you guys in general and says, "This the thing that we need to destroy?"
I'll take it if no one wants it.
That's assuming the hag was the one that turned him inside out. If the hag wasn't the one that turned him inside out, destroying it's not going to help Darius, right?
See, I don't think it was, because it approached, And then he woke us all up, and he died before it approached, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't die.
Well, I thought he did.
Semantics aren't really important at the time right now.
I did not assume could survive like that.
To be quite honest, I just didn't really care. I
I'm not laughing in you. Just
Gerard will take the cloak, and I will cast Detect Magic.
Ooh. That gives you specific schools, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to notice something interesting. 2 separate sources of magic. One is coming from the cloak, and one is coming from the symbol, which only through Detect Magic do you even realize are not the same item.
Okay.
The cloak gives off very strangely colored abjuration magic, but you can tell it's abjuration. And then the symbol is conjuration. Sorry, conjuration and transmutation both. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Abjuration, conjuration, transmutation. This is pretty powerful magic.
Magic, 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 magic.
I don't know what those words mean, but I'll take your word for it.
We'll have to find out what these do. Do we have like a lockbox in the cart?
He had a
Is
secret.
smuggler's
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mr. Bright. Can I call him Mr. McBright?
As
Hey,
opposed to what
Mr.
else?
Brightside.
Yeah.
It's like the killers. It's killing me. Sorry.
Luca just visibly wants to kill this mess of a living being.
At a
Okay.
game, DM, were you mentioning that we're close to a big city that perhaps someone there can help?
Potentially,
Yeah, I
as
think
long
so.
as he can be kept alive until then. It's a whole day's travel.
All right. I
But
think
yeah,
we should.
if you were going to find help instead of mercy kill him or one of the other options mentioned, if you were going to find help, you would find it in a big city. Dendris would be best, but you are way too far away from Dendris to make it there before. Like he may be alive, but the only thing keeping him alive right now is Thane's
Thane.
ministrations. Like he is not
Okay.
doing well.
Vane, can you keep him alive until we get to a bigger city?
I'll do my best.
Is it worth it?
So if you were to ask me, I would give you the same answer I did last night. No, put him out of his misery. But it, we've got bigger fish to fry, and I don't want to start a moral argument here in the middle of nowhere. So I leave it to the group. It's not a dictatorship.
I say kill him.
I abstain from the vote. I just say we move forward. He's in the cart now. I don't want to touch him or move him. If he doesn't get saved, we can kill him later.
I'll take care of him.
Seems like it'll use
Until
an
we
awful
get
lot
to
of
the next
magic
city.
to have to keep him alive, won't it? Is it worth it?
If it's worth it for him, it's his magic. If he wants to do it, so be it.
Luca would make defensive symbols with her hands and keep her distance from Thane and his companion.
God, was that a Stargate reference?
No, me? No, that was a Friends reference. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. I mean, I would have preferred to be able to make a Stargate reference. I'm ashamed that I made a Friends reference, but whatever.
At least you acknowledge that shame, Greg.
Yes, I do. I embrace it.
I already had my fun with him. I don't really have anything else I want to do left, so I'm not too partial about keeping him alive.
Visibly, Gerard will kind of, and then thinking of Inside Out Man having fun as Inside Out Man.
I mean,
Well, how's he going to hear us? His ear canals are inside out.
Oh. I'm gonna grab Cabbage now and go sit in front of the cart. I'm ready.
Cabbage senses your distress and begins to purr and knead at you.
I am not sitting in the back.
no,
Oh, so
thank
sweet.
God I have a camel. I'm gonna talk to my camel.
That's what she said.
Thing gets in the back of the cart.
Okay.
Thing gets in the back of the cart.
Luca is walking and staying away from our passenger.
Who's driving?
I'm guessing Luca. Luca has no preternatural skill towards it whatsoever.
You're
But
walking.
thus far, Luca has been driving the horses. I hope somebody else would be better at it.
No, I am no good at horses.
I'll
Is
say
it
this much: if
survival
you
or animal
asked
handling?
Nadia
Or
to,
Animal
she
handling.
would try.
I mean, I got a +2, but
That is
Nadia.
double what I have.
Did you say you wanted to try, Nadia?
I said if you ask Nadia to, she'll try.
I'd say you would see Luca like grabbing the reins and the horse like kicks at her and Luca like steps back really quick and then moves to intimidate the horse. It is clearly an adversarial relationship between her and the team of horses drawing this cart.
I think you can make the horse understand that you can gut it like a pig.
Luca is alpha now.
wait. I mean, Darius is inside out, but his hands would still be hands, right?
Drive.
He could drive if somebody else is telling him where to go, right? I mean,
I mean,
If Darius
He's unconscious right now.
if Darius McBride is gonna ride in his sleeping bag with Thane keeping him alive, Luca can deal with it. If we propped up the inside out man on the front of our running board and tried to get him to go mush, Luca would be forced to do violence on
oh,
something.
don't worry, he's already mush.
woo.
I've never been this kind of DM, but I now get the DMs that just throw Tarrasques at players when they get upset.
He's already mush.
Just kidding. No, I loved it. I'm just dying on the inside.
Oh, my cheeks hurt from laughing. My
Funny
face.
enough, so is he. He's also dying on the inside.
No, he's
Well,
dying on the
technically
outside now.
Weekend at Bernie's 3.
Perfect. So you all begin to take off. Couple things. I need whoever's driving to give me an animal handling check, and Thane, I need you to give me a medicine check.
I've got a 0, and and she's got a 0, and she's Nadia.
I think the horses at first are all about Nadia. Like, ooh, yes, you smell nice.
I'm driving.
Huh? Oh, is that
That
not
was
what you rolled
me
for?
trying to say that that's why I shouldn't, but sure.
Oh, I thought you said
I
you
didn't.
did.
I didn't see you roll.
Yeah, but
No one's gonna stop
have-
me.
I
Nadia
just-
loves new experiences.
I have the stream up, not the dice roller, so I didn't see. I just heard you.
Okay, that's a 9. That's could be worse.
You said 0, and I thought that's what you rolled. Like you had like a
No, I got a
negative.
9.
Okay, cool. That was my mistake. Cool. With a 9, I think the horses would at first take to Nadia, and would go to nuzzle, and then immediately retreat as they would feel the cold against their nose.
What are these animals called again?
They're horses.
Oh.
You
I see
don't know what
people.
horses are?
I've seen them.
are they
I've
called
never met one.
something different where you're from?
I mean, I was raised pretty isolated. We didn't really have any around.
There are no farms where you're from?
Not that I've ever seen.
What do you eat?
Meat, fish,
Where?
plants that we forage.
Huh.
We live next to a river, so there's plenty of things to eat.
Was never a fan of fish. Too
I
fishy.
like them. Worms.
Did you say
Oh,
worms?
I thought you said, "What do fish eat?" And then I
No,
heard too fishy the second after.
they're too fishy.
I heard, "What do fish eat?"
If
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
if Kensu doesn't step up to handle the animals, Luca's gonna take the reins from Nadia and show her how to be an asshole to animals.
Why don't you roll me your choice of animal handling or intimidation?
I would much rather intimidate.
Oh, dang.
I got a 19.
With a 19, the horses are not a fan of Luca and proceed to try and get away from Luca, but Luca's driving, so they're just going along the road rather quickly.
Nadia will sit up.
They're listening. They're just going.
Sure. Nadia will sit with Luca at the bench. Look and say, "How long ago did you learn to speak common?"
There was this guy, his and then Luca remembers, because Luca's kind of an idiot, that she can speak Elvish with Nadia.
Mm-hmm.
And Luca says, there was a boy, his family were a different religious sect. They spoke a lot of old tongue. I learned it because I thought it'd be important, and then it wasn't. And now it suddenly is very important.
I only picked it up a few weeks ago. No one really speaks it where I'm from.
You're good at it.
It's easy.
Luca looks frustrated and annoyed and snaps the reins at the horses and gets them going a little faster.
You learned it in how long?
That, didn't it?
Oh, man.
I didn't mean to upset you. I could teach you if you like.
I am learning, she says, going back to common, what she calls old tongue. Just slow.
Nadia will say in common again. But the teaching is pretty fresh since I only got taught it a few weeks ago, so I could just repeat back to you what I learned.
Luca looks back at the wagon to see who is close by.
Thane.
Thane.
Not Thane. Luca is as far from Thane on this wagon as possible, and she would insist so, or else she would make the animals stop.
I don't know where Durad is sitting, but I know
Probably
Kensu
also
is
far
riding
from Thane.
aside the cart.
I was gonna say, if there's how many horses do we have, and how many people can sit in the front bench?
There's actually 2 carts if you're bringing, because someone said they were bringing his spices. So
Yeah, Luca tied them together.
Right.
Yeah, it's like tethered on to the back.
Mm-hmm. Like a ye old trailer hitch.
Luca would speak very quietly in Elvish and say, "Teach me."
All right then.
Like she's trying to keep it a secret.
Is that the only language you know? Is Elvish your first?
Yes, Elvish is my first. Elvish was my only for most of my life. And
Really?
presumably was going to be for some number of hundred of years longer.
Huh. Common is my fourth, I think.
Just gonna send us late.
Primordial was what we spoke when I was growing up.
This is where even Luca's mastery of Elvish starts to strain, and she says, rock language, water language, fire language, wind language?
Well, mostly water, but I could speak all of them. Like I said, we live near a river.
I traveled a lot. Language was brief, to the point. There were great storytellers amongst my people. I am not one of them.
Well, you do talk very slow. I can see how that would be a problem. You could talk faster, though, and you might be a better storyteller.
I will try to talk faster, but when I talk fast, I get excited. I overstep. I'm enthusiastic.
What's the problem with that?
Have you seen me when I drink?
No.
Not yet.
You'll find out.
Okay.
I get enthusiastic when I drink. And according to Gerard, we are coming up on a city.
Gerard would be in the other cart. Yeah.
With an 18 on that medicine check, you are able to stabilize Darius Thane. And you'll notice something interesting. However, I'm going to thank you all for your patience, as this is actually being sent in private to you, Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
This is happening. Nadia will call over to the other cart. Rod,
Yes, Nadia dear.
how many languages do you speak?
Oh. Let me check my character sheet.
Your what?
Oh, my character sheet, dear. Don't you know? Everyone has a character sheet.
Luke will throw you at the fourth wall if you keep talking like that, Jason.
I laughed so hard I kicked over the book that my phone is with.
So yeah, you notice that, but you do manage to save him. Durod, were you about to say something?
Out of character, I did not transfer my languages over. It's Common, Elvish, and Gnome. Is it Gnomish?
I think so. Yeah, Gnomish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Common, Elvish, and Gnomish.
that's right.
Which one did you learn first?
Elvish. And then Common, and then Gnomish.
I bet he speaks shitty Gnomish.
All right, that was me. Sorry.
Is that in character?
Yeah, was that in character?
That Lucas says that in character, just side mutters it to Nadia.
Nadia cracks up.
What's so funny, Nadia?
Oh, nothing.
All right, this is where I'm going to ask you Did you ever take my business card out of your pocket?
I don't think so, no. I think it's probably still in there.
Okay.
The business card.
Hold on. All right, I will use my action so I can see and hear through the business card.
You are surrounded by a
Pocket.
pocket. But you can hear what's going on.
And that's it. So now I can hear whatever Nadia. I can hear from a pocket.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay.
Who dropped?
It was
Not
me
even-
because my audio fell out.
Oh no.
Oh.
I think we're done talking. I think you can just hear laughing.
Rod's that guy.
It's a long ride, so I'm sure you can pick up some interesting tidbits along the way.
Durod if you guys are gonna practice any common up there, Durod most definitely knows that Nadia's teaching Luca common.
She's not
That
correct.
if you Well, Luca is.
Luca is also talking shit about Durod and does not have the social skills to hide the fact that she is grinning at Durod over the cart.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And yeah. Uh-huh. Wave and smile, Luca.
As
How long ago did you learn common, Gerard?
Well, I couldn't tell you. When I was younger, I suppose.
I guess that does make me the best teacher then. All the lessons are fresh in my head.
Oh, I have questions for you.
Yes.
Well, not now.
Why mention it?
I'm thinking out loud. It's what I do.
You said you were going to tell me something at the campfire, and you still haven't.
I don't recall.
Yes, you did. You said that you wanted to tell me something, but it wasn't the right time, and it's a different time now.
Well, if I said it wasn't the right time then, and I don't recall now, I assume it is also not the right time now.
the gears slowly grinding to a halt in Nadia's head. The fuck do you mean?
Oh,
Sure, if it was important, I'll remember at some point in time, and then perhaps that will be the time.
is my common good, do you think?
Go ahead, sorry. You can repeat the question, sorry. I was speaking.
Is my common good, do you think?
Well, it sounds very common.
Guess Master Pearlbeard knew what he was talking about then.
Was he your teacher?
Yeah. Couldn't speak a word of it when I met him.
Oh. So Master Pearlbeard can speak Elvish.
Nobody
How did
speaks
you initially talk to him?
Primordial. That's my first language.
That's quite interesting.
Well, the women who raised me all spoke it.
Well, what did they look like?
They all look different.
Different how? Different like Thane?
Like different from each
like-
other. They're three different people.
Do they have green skin, tusks, ears, long hair? Do they have any outstanding
They have long
features?
hair. I have long hair. Luca has long hair. Lots of people have long hair.
But I would say you're all the same in that.
I mean, I suppose I grew my hair long because they did.
Luca's long hair is filled with bone and stone charms.
Nadia's long hair is just loose, except for a piece of it has a green ribbon braided into it, like at the front.
Gotcha.
I guess, technically speaking, Gerard has long hair too.
Yeah, you've long hair.
Yeah,
Why do you ask?
I just keep it. I'm just trying to piece together where it is you're from.
Well, like, my mother was from Sema.
But that's not who raised you.
That's true.
Your mother was from Sema.
Hmm?
It's interesting. Do you have any family left in Sema?
I wouldn't know. I never met any of her people. She died when I was born.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. You never met her.
I mean, I suppose I met her on the way out, but we didn't really have a chance to chat.
Yeah. How old are you, Nadia?
Um, 18, 19?
I'd like to roll insight on that. Whether you're lying or not. Oh, dear God.
Doesn't seem to
It's
be.
okay.
Like, it seems like she just genuinely hasn't kept track.
And that's you. I mean, you appear to be that age, close to that age. Right? You don't, Nadia doesn't appear to be older. Like, she's
No,
around. She looks,
Nadia
yeah,
looks
she looks
around
that
18,
age.
19, 20.
Right. So it visually adds up. Okay. Hmm.
Some small talk is made along the journey. However, thanks to a very high intimidation roll and scaring the horses into moving a little bit faster than they might want to for 2 carts, as nightfall is approaching, you actually can see the walls of the city. And as you're kind of rounding on the road and you're getting to this point, the sun is going down and the moon is coming up, and you can sort of see that twilight shimmer across the top of a massive lake just off to your left as you're riding up north. And on the edge of this lake is a massive ringed city, except for all of the rings are half circles and they stop at the edge of the lake. So it's walls facing toward all the land, but not toward the lake. And there are several small harbors in the city, as well as one big harbor. This lake, let me make sure I pull up my map looking correctly. Yeah, this lake connects to a major river that spills out into into the ocean. And for those of you who are from Aspira or have looked at a map, this lake is about the size of a American Great Lake, or bigger, probably bigger, and is big. And then the river leading off of it is a little bit bigger than the Mississippi, about 20% bigger than the Mississippi.
That's almost a mile and a half wide.
Is a big ass river and a huge ass lake.
So we can see.
Yeah,
Can we make it there?
I mean, it'll be dark, but you'll get there within the next hour.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And as sort of sunset and moonrise clash, it creates a a show across the top of the water that briefly catches anyone who looks at it off guard, as it is so serene. It gives off a feeling of peace and comfort and solemnity. And the city itself looks heavily fortified as you're now approaching, and you're not sure if something's wrong or if it's just because it's late at night, but the gates are closed as you're approaching. Mm-hmm.
I've been here before. Is that normal?
The gates were not closed the last time you were here.
I'm very familiar with this place, and the gates don't usually close, do
I
they?
mean, they close at times where there are like sightings of dangerous creatures within a certain perimeter of the city, right? They'll close the gates, but unless that's the case, they almost never close them. Even at night, they leave them open.
Like, are there watchtowers next to the gate? Are they manned?
Yeah, so the outer ring of walls is lined with correct me if I'm using the wrong word here, but like a parapet? Am I thinking of the right word? Battlement. That's the word I was looking for. There are raised battlements that are all manned all along the outside ring of the city. And there are eight city guards, one of which is the captain of the guard, at the gates. And you are just now approaching and starting to slow the wagon down as you're getting close to the gates. And all of the guards, upon seeing you approach, stand at attention and in formation blocking the road. Right in front of the gate, not like way out in front of it, but just in front of the gate, you're blocking the road.
God will message Kensu real quick. I assume he's to not be loud or yell or holler. Do you want to maybe take a shot at these guys first?
Yeah, sure. Kinsu will kind of like do that little kick you do with a horse to kind of get it to move forward a little bit, but with his camel.
Right.
And just kind of hail, we are a party from Dendris. I am Kensu, head of security for Vice Minister of
Foreigns.
Foreigns. Thank you. We're here on a mission in this area. May we enter the city?
You see the guard does not jump to say anything, doesn't ever move to interrupt you, and is very calm and is very attentive while listening to you. And in addition to that attentiveness that you notice in him, even the silence after you finish talking before he speaks is indicative of him choosing his words carefully and someone who speaks very carefully. And will say, do you have proof of your identity and or your mission in this area?
Yeah, I do. And I'll
The guard will gesture to you to pull it out, and then will actually move away from you, and the captain of the guard will approach with hand out and weapons sheathed to take a look at the paperwork you're pulling out.
Yeah, I'll hand him the paperwork.
He'll look at the writ, and despite the seal of Dendris being right there at the bottom and big, bold, and clean, this guard reads every word of it, like every word in excruciating detail.
Mm-hmm.
And again pauses, even though this is a different guard. This is the captain now, but again is being very careful. Yeah, go ahead.
While he's reading, I would like to just be patiently observing his behavior while he reads, as well as his underlings' behavior
Sure.
while we're all standing. I'm just trying to see if
Yeah, they're.
they're all unnaturally on edge, or
I no, I get you. I will say this: there's going to be some stuff that you're just going to get for free because they're not necessarily hiding anything. But I still want an insight, anyways, in case you can pick up some of the underlying tones of why this situation is the way that it is.
totally fair.
A 12. Okay.
Yeah.
With a 12 insight, you can tell that whatever is causing this careful mentality is A, something recent that has all of the guards on edge, and B, all of them are being careful.
Okay.
Also, this isn't necessarily part of the insight, but just some of the free information that I said you guys would get. You recognize, you in particular, you have a lot of experience with Aspiran military and Aspiran local police and stuff like that, or guards as they're more accurately called now. But you don't see anyone without massive amounts of tenure here at this gate. Like, there are no young guards, there are no greenhorns here to learn the ropes. Like, this is the captain of the guard and like the 7 other best guards, like highest decorated. You can see it's really subtle because Espir is not really like a showboaty kind of military, but you can see like the subtle signs of like valor in the line of duty, and like these are like up there guards.
And
Like they're all gunnies.
They're all gunnies.
so would it be one of those things like, given the time of day, people of this importance have the day shift and this is the night shift kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah, they shouldn't be here. And even if they were, they would be at some place super important in the city, not outside of the gates, with the gates closed. That's weird.
As he's reading, Kinsu will just kind of try to make small talk, and you guys are looking pretty tense. Has something happened here of recent?
The guard doesn't reply until you catch where he's at in the note that begins to explain who you are before he even responds out loud. Does
Okay.
not deign to respond until verifies who you are. We'll then say, Kensu Dawnbreaker?
Dawn Forger. Yes.
With that insight, you pick up that it was a purposeful to see if you had read the writ. Like if you
okay.
like picked it up off of a dead person or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you can tell that wasn't like he misread, but was more as
Right.
testing. And then says, you and yours are allowed inside the city. And to answer your question, sir, yes, there has been a major development in the city. As you know, our city has been one of peace. There hasn't really been any major issues, and being this close to the lake provides us with what we need for good trade, and we're all around a happy people, and crime rates have always been very low here. 14 people were found in very strange circumstances dead in the city tonight. Or all within the last 24 hours.
Were they perhaps inside out?
The guard kind of leans back a little bit and says, "Yes, sir."
We're investigating similar occurrences, not just here. I personally have seen this happen in Agrenar as well.
Wait, you mean there's a serial killer from Agrenar up here in our city?
No, I mean, whatever is happening is affecting not just Aspira, but other countries as well. It is.
So you don't think it's an attack by one of our rival nations?
I don't know. My investigation um, over the past few months, it is an individual, I believe, who can, with no affiliation to any particular nation. It is somebody, I don't know, conducting an experiment of some kind. To what end, I don't know. But
So, independent terrorist then?
if we were to come up with a label, I guess that would be the best fit that I would categorize it for now.
I
But
apologize, sir. I'm not attempting to fish for labels. I'm just worried
no, I
about
no, no, no.
my
It's
citizens, and I'm just trying to understand what's going on.
the first time I saw it, it defied description. So I totally understand. Um, I'd be more than happy to lend a hand with whatever's going on. Is there a superior of yours that I should talk to once we get in the city, or?
I'm captain of the guard, so as far as the guard goes, no. But I'm sure someone of your status would like to probably talk to some government officials, perhaps while you're here in the city.
I
I
mean,
I gotta.
I prefer talking to guards as opposed to politicians, but I suppose I should follow the chain of command.
As do I, sir. I should warn you. It was strange. I mean, more than just the fact that 14 people were turned inside out in the last 24 hours. But two of those were middle of the day yesterday, and they were brutal.
Um,
Then there
I
was.
would. Oh, keep going. Sorry, I didn't
Sorry,
know he was.
you're good. Sorry. Yeah, two of them in the middle of the day yesterday died, and it was brutal. But there was nothing else until early this morning, where all other 12 were killed. And sir, I know this sounds weird, but like their bodies were intact. None of them died immediately, and all of them lived long enough to receive first aid before then passing of seemingly natural causes.
Um, I, a- as he's talking, I would also kind of like gesture with a hand to wave the carts through, so they're not just standing out there in the middle of nowhere for this entire conversation.
Got it.
Um,
Yeah, he'll
but I
wave
would,
the gates open as you gesture.
but I would tell him that we have someone with us that encountered the same kind of treatment, and they're still alive as well. But I want to ask,
Oh,
um,
we need to get them to the chirurgeons as fast as possible.
okay, can you tell me where they're at, and I'll tell
Um,
them where to go.
yeah, he will fiddle with his armor to pull a plate off to reach his leather jerkin's pocket to pull out a little map that he has, and will kind of with his finger guide you through um, where you're gonna go.
Okay. I will, Gerard. I will call Gerard over. I'll give him a map and say, bring Darius here. The city's encountered similar situations that Darius has been under.
I'm sorry, did you say Darius? Darius McBride?
Realizing I should not have used names. Yes. Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
I know him. He's a victim too.
Yes.
He's periodically passes through the city all the time, going to and from SEMA to do. I think he trades spices or maybe textiles. I can't remember.
It is spicy, yeah.
Okay, but
But
I've
that
I've I've
he,
I've met him on multiple occasions. Seems like a nice enough guy, albeit sad ever since his family died. But
mhm.
I mean,
Um, can you tell me the ones that you found this morning that are similar to how Darius is looking? Can you Do you know the time that was? Like exact time of morning, day, night?
Could you repeat that question one more time? Sorry, DM asking.
No, it's okay. What time of early morning or night was it exactly that the perfectly inside out people were discovered, the ones that were still alive?
I think the first body was discovered at 3 a.m.
DM at a game, would I know that that's roughly the same time that Darius was found?
That's about. Darius was found at about 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Okay. Okay.
3
Um,
a.m. And I think Jordan might be realizing is about the time Thane reappeared back in the camp. Because you were only gone about an hour.
Awesome.
On the map, you said we're right here, Zeke.
Let me pull up the map so I can see. Yes, that little city by the lake. Well, it's not little, but on the map, on the screen, little.
What's the name of it again?
I don't think I actually said, and I should have. Let me pull up my notes and double check the name. This is, and if someone wants to drop this in like the party notes or something, maybe I can make a separate channel for like locations. I don't know. We'll figure it out. This city is called Trithaban. So it's Trithiban. Trithaban. Welcome back, Jason. Well, video's still loading, but welcome back.
Maybe not yet.
Yeah, maybe I spoke too soon. Everyone is circles, so we weren't loading for him. Uh-oh. Welcome back. Odd. You know, why don't we go ahead, I was going to wait until like 8:15, 8:20 to do it. Why don't we go ahead and take our break now so that way I can see if I can help Jason get set up, and let's come back at 8:10 p.m. Eastern.
mhm.
So 7:10 for you, Jordan. And then let me go ahead and put everything over to intermission.